I'll bet hers has got better stuff on it.
All right, so my name is Oren Sheps. I'm a CPA. I attended KC's, probably very similar to what you're doing here this week, about 11, 12 months ago in Miami Beach. And it was, I think, Casey, I told you this when I did it. It was a very important and critical day in my life because I had set up my own company and I knew that I could offer CPA services and the whole kind of spectrum of what that entails, but I didn't really have a system. I had some clients that I'd taken on to do their bookkeeping, and I was doing the bookkeeping. And you know what? I'm not a great bookkeeper. It's just, you have to know all the ins and outs of QuickBooks, and even though I had gotten my Pro Advisor certification, that doesn't really mean a lot in terms of knowing how to use QuickBooks. So I actually, got Casey's flyer by accident. I share office space with a couple other CPAs, and they had thrown it in the trash, and I picked it out of the trash. and the timing seemed right, so I went and attended Casey's 3-day training class in Miami, and really it opened my eyes in terms of how to create a scalable outsourced bookkeeping and accounting practice using his paperless overnight document management system. And also Casey had some really good ideas in regard to how to market the service. So, a year later, my practice is growing, and I'm really happy with, most importantly, the document management system is, it's working extremely well. It's the bottom-up delegation approach, and it really works. I probably maybe do 5% of the actual bookkeeping work. My job is to source new clients, manage my client relationships, and manage my staff. Once the hard work for me is on the front end when you do the implementation, and Lynn does a great, I don't know if Lynn, if you're still doing this, but in February I went out to Encinitas, California, at Lynn and Casey's beautiful house out there, and Lynn did a 2-day training seminar on how to implement a client, which really goes a long way, because that's really the most important part. Once you get the client implemented, everything kind of falls into place in terms of you develop the processes and procedures. And Casey, so is this today more about, are you talking about the document management system, or are you talking about sales and marketing?
We're going to be done with sales and marketing in the next 30, 45 minutes, and then we're going to go into the document management
Okay.
as soon as we're done.
Great. So, the most important thing for me was getting the document management system. And I think when you see it tomorrow, you're going to start to realize why it's such a powerful platform. Basically, I've sent up about 20,000 pages over the last year, and everything flows internally from the staff. You get the work done. If it needs to be reviewed, you capture your comments. You're able to reach out to the client in a very systematic way that is much different than the old way, which would, the old way is making a phone call, sending an email, then sitting and waiting for the response. You're not able to move the work forward. But with the system that Casey and Lynn have developed, you do the work, your staff does the work when it's in front of them. And when it's not in front of them, they're not dealing with it. If the client's sitting on something, then you're waiting for the client to respond. And I guess my point is that the system captures everything. So, you might say, well, I can't do the work, the client's sitting on it. Well, you have a documented system that shows that you sent this to the client 4 days ago, and the client is sitting on it. So the client is the one that's holding up the work, but they're not holding up you from working on other clients, and they're not holding up you from, being efficient and organized on your end. So, basically, I love their system. I think my practice wouldn't be able to grow the way it is and be a scalable business model without it. There's other systems out there. I don't know anything about them, but I know that this system works extremely well. And my advice would be, when you start using it, I think Casey will tell you this, is that you want to make sure that you do it for your own company first. I think I've attended 4 of Casey's seminars like this over the last year, and the thing I hear most from people that haven't been able to successfully implement this business model is that they haven't taken the time to do it themselves. And so I strongly urge you to take your own company's books and integrate the online banking through whichever bank you use. If you don't use a bank that has the direct connect through QuickBooks, switch to a bank that does, Bank of America, PNC. There's a couple other large ones that, and understand how to do that yourself, because then when you go out and try to sell the services, you'll be speaking from a perspective of knowing how to use it versus trying to sell a service that you don't know anything about. So, anybody have any questions or?